functions are a way of mathematically describing certain characteristics of the world around us. And you would have come across the simple way of writing a function y as being a function of x. This is the syntax or the correct way of mathematically writing, algebraically writing the function. We can use any letter there, and we're just saying that, if you like, a function can be thought of as being like a black box. And into that black box we will place some value, and out of that box will come another value, which will be a function of x or y. So something goes on inside the black box, we put a value in, and out it comes. There are four basic ways of looking at a function. One is by the algebraic definition. And let's just look at a simple function y equals 2x plus 3. So that defines a function. We'll put a bit x value in, we'll do some mathematical calculation on that x value, and out will come a y value. We could also express it as a table of values. Where we have some x values and y values. And we might have -3, -2, 0, 4, and 10, and we'll have -3. So if we're looking at this function here, we'd have -3, -1, 3, 11, and 23. So putting that x value into this algebraic definition or formula, out will come -3. We could describe the function verbally, and verbally we're saying twice a value plus 3. So written in words, we've got this function here can be written as twice a value plus 3. So 2 times the value plus 3, and out would come the different values. The fourth way, so we've got 1, 2, 3 ways. The fourth way, the fourth most common way, is graphically. And that's just using the Cartesian plane. And we would have an x and a y axis. Y equals 2x plus 3. The y-intercept would be 3. The gradient is 2, so it's quite steep. And so y equals 2x plus 3. So that graph there would indicate the same function as we've used right through here. So there's 4 different ways of describing exactly the same function. Most of this course will concentrate on those two, the algebraic or the formula, and the graphic representation of a function. Another concept or another way of looking at a function is a function can quite often be thought of as a mapping. So here we have our x values, and here we have our y values, and our function will take a point from there and map it over to there. So here's my function, and the function will take this x value and produce that y value. So y is a function of x, and and the function will actually be used to calculate the new y value. All the x values, an x value is called the independent variable, and the y values are called the dependent variable. So it can be thought of as that the y value will depend on the x value that you choose. If you wanted to give a name to all the possible x values, they are called the domain. So these are words that you should be very familiar with. All the y values are the range. So the range is used to define or describe all the y values that can be created. An important aspect is that a function, so this is a characteristic that must be true, any one x value produces only one y value. So for a function to exist, given any one x value, we only get one y value. So using this diagram over here, if you had something like this, so here's my x and here are my y's, and given one x value, we get y1, and then using that same x value, we're going to get y2, so this will be not a function. This is an example of a function. Given that x value, you only get one y value. All right, that's looking at it visually. How would it be algebraically? What would be an example of not a function? So if we had y squared equals x, when we find the square root of both sides, we get y equals plus root x or minus root x. So given x is equal to 9, we get two y values. We get plus 3 or minus 3, because square root 9, 3. So if given x is equal to 9, we get two y values, so this is not a function. As is that not a function? All right, so we'll leave our introduction there, just going back over it. A function can be thought of as being nothing more than like a black box device that you put in a value and you get another value. There are 4 different ways to express the same function, 1, 2, 3, 4. We're going to concentrate mostly on the algebraic definition or the formula. And we're also going to be doing a lot of work on the graphic representation of a function. Be very familiar with independent variable, dependent variable, domain and range, and we'll leave it there.